This will be the last custom of 2016, but if you support me on Patreon, you can help me make a bunch more in 2017. With the Christmas shopping season finally over, my hours went back to normal levels, so I had time to get started on another project I've been meaning to do for a while. And amazingly enough, I actually managed to get it finished in only 2 days. Yep, it's the Fierce Deity Link, originally from Majora's Mask, but also playable in Hyrule Warriors. So let's get into this. Alright, so the first thing that I did was shave off some material from the armpit of the Link figure. This allows his arm to sit flatter against his chest and look a lot more symmetrical with the left arm. I know World of Nintendo made that arm stick out a little bit more so that it could be look more natural when he's holding up a shield, but, you know, just make that joint a little bit tighter, like maybe add some soft detents into it so that it won't flop down. And, you know, then you can have a figure that it doesn't have a pre-assumed pose. I mean, I know it's a very minor pre-assumed pose compared to others, but it's just annoying because it's so close to symmetry, but not quite. Most of Link's torso, oh, by the way, I used a Goron Link because it's the same mold. Most of Link's torso is actually made out of a very hard plastic that does not get soft when you boil it. So in dismantling the figure, I was only able to remove the head, boots, and forearms. That means that most of the torso had to be done in pretty much one piece. This wasn't too bad. I just had to flip the skirt inside out so I could get in the legs and the inside of the skirt. And once I had that part painted, I was able to just reattach the boots because the boots wouldn't need any modifications. I only removed them so that I wouldn't get any paint on them while I was painting the leggings underneath. The head is also just a straight up repaint. It's Link's head, but he now has a gray hat and white hair, as well as completely whited out eyes, and of course the Fierce Deity markings on his forehead and cheeks. It's amazing how that makes him look so much more intimidating, despite the fact that it is still technically the same face. Pretty much the entirety of the sculpting went into the armor, which was done on Link's torso and his skirts. The Fierce Deity armor basically just goes on top of the tunic, and it was a little bit awkward to attach it to the much softer material that makes up the skirt part, but I actually was able to fudge the belt on his torso. Because you see, like, I was concerned that I might have to sand away the belt, leaving, you know, like, I don't know how deep this goes, so I was afraid I might leave a hollow spot. But then I realized that the straps that hold the front piece of the armor onto the back piece of the armor actually work, like, they follow the same line as the belt that's normally holds a scabbard on his back. So all I had to do was sculpt a complementary piece on the other side, and it worked out pretty darn good. I painted the armor. Now, I had a hard time figuring out the exact color scheme of Fierce Deity Link because every screen cap and picture of him I saw was taken under different lighting conditions. So, like, some of them had his clothes look almost completely white. Others had them in a much darker shade of gray, and it was really hard to figure out what was what. So I just went with making the clothing gray and the armor silver, except for the belly patch, which is white. You know, I know there's going to be a lot of people that try to correct me in the comments, and I just want to get it out there that I did my research, and this is the best I could come up with. So, you know, there's that. Compared to all that, the forearms seem almost like an afterthought. Now, just like with the Skyward Sword and Toon Links, this guy has like these pseudo Figma joints that make up his elbows. It's really cool. I just wish that, like Figma joints, you could purchase them separately in whatever colors you want, because, like Figma joints, paint will absolutely not stick to them. So as you can see, the forearm is just like, it's silver and gray now with a little red band going in the middle, and once I reattached it to the body, it looks really cool. The only problem is, the very instant you bend the elbows, the paint is completely scraped off the joint, and he's left with white spots in the middle of his arms. nothing I can do about that unless they actually do release a Link that has, these joints in blue, which would be unlikely unless World of Nintendo actually got around to making their own Fierce Deity Link, in which case, what's the point of this figure? Although, if they do make a Fierce Deity Link, it would be kind of cool to compare mine to theirs to see who did it better. They made all those variants of Mario, including the Tanuki suits, so, Fierce Deity would actually be a relatively simple mod for them. Of course, Fierce Deity Link isn't complete without his signature weapon, so let's make that. Here is a mock-up of the Helix blade, done on a simple piece of poster board. I decided the length of the blade would best be represented as long as his head and torso. I know there's some people that think that this thing should be Buster Sword huge, but I just don't really see it that big. So once I had that, I cut the Helix blade in 2 halves from foam board, and I also used the Joker's pimp cane left over from my Devil Boner custom to make the handle. This was actually quite a bit of complicated cutting halfway into things and then sticking things together, which is very interesting when you're actually doing it, but, to describe the process is kind of boring. So let's just take the painted up Helix blade and put it in the Fierce Deity Link's hand. And there we go. The Joker's pimp cane actually fits perfectly in this Link's hand, almost like it was made for it. That is a nice sword. I'm pretty proud of the way it came up, even if, it has blunt edges because it's made out of foam board. Because it's so lightweight, the figure can easily hold it up and wave it around at any angle you want, and it does not throw him off balance in any position, which is a total win in my case. So we have our Fierce Deity Link with his big ol' Helix blade, and it has been a pleasure making toys for you guys in 2016. Let's hope that I can make a whole bunch more toys in 2017. This is Wakeangel2K1, and I'm signing off.